Hello everyone, I'm BeakerTeck, also known as Keegan, and welcome to Mount and Blade Warband, one of my all-time favorite games, but a game that I haven't played in quite some time, so I thought, why not? I was getting a little bit bored with Stronghold Crusader 2, and so I thought I'm going to mix it up. It's still, an old medieval kind of age game, but this time instead of building cities, I'm going to hopefully be destroying a couple of them. So let's go ahead straight away and start up a new game. Now, for those of you that haven't played Mount and Blade Warband, basically, you create this character, you go around recruiting a bunch of people into your army, and then you go and try and become king. It's completely open world, you can basically do whatever you want, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go through and read all of these screens. If you have already played the game, you know what these screens say, so go ahead and skip about a minute. But for those of you that haven't, well, I hope you enjoy. So, welcome, adventurer, to Mount and Blade Warband. Before beginning the game, you must create your character. Remember that in the traditional medieval society depicted in the game, war and politics are usually dominated by male members of the nobility. That does not, however, mean that you should not choose to play a female character, or one who is not of noble birth. Male nobles may have a somewhat easier start, but women and commoners can attain all of the same goals, and in fact, may have a much more interesting, if more challenging, early game. So select your character's gender. I am going to go ahead and play as a male. I've played as a female before. It does actually make it a hell of a lot harder. But I'm going to try and create me, or at least Beaker. So we're going to go ahead with a male. So, you were born years ago in a land far away. Your father was A. An impoverished noble. B. A traveling merchant. C. A veteran hunter. A veteran warrior. D. A hunter. E. A steppe nomad. And F. A thief. Now, if I pick noble, I get to have a flag, and it's a lot easier to become king and, get people to listen to me and follow me and start my own nation and all that kind of stuff. If you're already a noble, it means I don't have to go and do that later in the game. If my father was a veteran warrior, I get, more warrior stats at the start. Hunters, steppe nomads, they each have their own bonuses. I tend to like playing as an impoverished noble, just because it does give you that little bit of a boost, but I think I'm going to skip it, and I'm actually going to go with a traveling merchant. So that's who my father was. Now let's find out about me. So, you were born the son of traveling merchants, always moving from place to place in search of a profit. Money. Although your parents were wealthier than most and educated you as well as they could, you found little opportunity to make friends on the road, living mostly for the moments when you could sell something to somebody. You started to learn about the world almost as soon as you could walk and talk. You spent your early life as a page at a nobleman's court, a craftsman apprentice, a shop assistant, a street urchin, and a steppe child. I seem to be reading... I read ahead before I talk, which means sometimes I get my sentences mixed up. Please accept my apologies in advance. Which one, if my parents were wealthy merchants, what would they want me to be? Would they want me to be a page at a nobleman's court? Or would they want me to learn a craft? I don't think they'd want me to be any of these things. But I think, I was educated. I'd sit up here, well educated, which I think pages will. But craftsmen, maybe they want me to get to know my product before I sell it. So I think we're going to go with that. Let's go ahead and be a craftsman apprentice. And get into this next little section. As a boy growing out of childhood, you apprenticed with a local craftsman to learn a trade. After years of hard work and study under your new master, he promoted you to journeyman and employed you as a fully paid craftsman for as long as you wished to stay. Then, as a young adult, life changed as it always does. You became a squire, a troubadour, a university student, a goods peddler, a smith, or a game poacher. I'm going to go with a squire, just to give me a little bit more fighting skills. I think I probably, as a merchant and as a craftsman, I saw a bunch of knights coming through and all these guys in nice shiny armor riding on horses. And I thought, I want to get me some of that. So we're going to go ahead and be a squire. Though the distinction felt sudden to you, Somewhere along the way, you had become a man, and the whole world seemed to be change around you. When you were named squire to a noble at court, you practiced long hours with weapons, learning how to deal out hard knocks and how to take them too. You were instructed in your obligations to your lord, and of your duties to those who might one day be your vassals. But in addition to learning the chivalric ideal, you also learned about the less uplifting side. Old warriors' stories of ruthless power politics, of betrayals and usurpations, of men who used guile as well as valor to achieve their aims. But soon everything changed and you decided to strike out on your own as an adventurer. What made you take this decision was personal revenge, the loss of a loved one, wanderlust, being forced out of your home, or lust for money and power. These choices make absolutely no difference, by the way, to the game. The rest of them sort of change your starting stats. These ones, no effect. But we're going to go with the loss of a loved one. He's going to be a hopeless romantic. We're going to try and get him married, and he's going to be flirting his way through. It's going to be fantastic. Only you know exactly what caused you to give up your old life and becoming an adventurer. Except for also the game, because I just told you that it was the loss of a loved one. Anyway, all you can say is that you couldn't bear to stay, not with the memories of those you loved so close and so painful. Perhaps your new life will let you forget, or honor the name that you can no longer bear to speak. Become an adventurer and ride to your destiny. Okay. What will the game saving be? Realistic. No quitting without saving. Basically what that means is that if I make a mistake, I kind of am stuck with it because the game auto-saves as soon as you try and quit. Or it's going to allow me to quit without saving, so I can save, try and do something. If it doesn't work, go back, try it again. You know what? Let's go ahead and be realistic. If I make mistakes, we're going to live with them. Just like it is in real life. So I guess the first thing is let's pick a name. Well, if we're trying to make Beaker, we're trying to make me Beaker, let's call him BeakerTeckerian. That sounds medieval-ish. Or we could be Beakerian? No, we'll go with BeakerTeckerian. That works for me. Now, we have some attributes over here. We have skills and we have weapon points. Get used to the screen because every time you level up, you see this. So we're going to go through them. Strength, agility, intelligence, charisma. These are your base sort of things, your attributes as it says. And each of them, if you look in the top right, basically control different aspects of you. And they're pretty basic. Everyone understands these things. So your strength is going to add to your hit points. And it's also going to give you Iron Flesh, Power Strike, Power Throw, and Power Draw. So basically, how hard you can hit and how hard you can take a hit, right? Agility, each point gives 5 weapon points and slightly increases the movement speed. And it will also allow you to increase your Weapon Master, your Shield, Athletics, Riding, Horse Archery, and Looting. So basically, you're just better at doing things with more agility. Intelligence gives you 1 extra skill point in here, which is quite useful actually, because these become very important down the road. And you increase your trainer, tracking, tactics, pathfinding, spotting, inventory management, wound treatment, surgery, first aid, engineer, and persuasion. So quite a long list of things that the intelligence can boost. And charisma, each point increases your party size limit by +1, which is quite good. And the following skills cannot be developed beyond 1/3 of charisma: prisoner management, leadership, trade. So it allows you to get basically, you're better with people. That's what charisma means. Pretty self-explanatory. So starting right off the bat, I've got quite a bit of strength and quite a bit of charisma. That's because I was a merchant and a squire. So that's pretty good. However, our intelligence and agility are just a little bit lacking. Let's go ahead and get these to 8. And then our strength up to 9 as well. So 9, 8, 8, 9. I think that's a pretty good little balance. And we have 8 skill points. I'm not going to go through all of these right now. Feel free to pause, read the list, and you'll see basically what they do. They're pretty self-explanatory. But one thing I do want is I like to fight with single one-handed weapons, swords, and a shield. That's my go-to all the time. So we're going to give myself Power Strike, 2 points in that, a point we'll go 2 points into Iron Flesh to allow myself to take a few more hits. You'll see my health has gone up now. We're not going to worry with throw or draw. Going to put a point into Weapon Master. We're going to put 2 points into Shield. And our Riding is maxed out, which is quite nice. And straight off the bat, we're going to increase either looting or trainer. So looting basically means I'm going to get more stuff. Every time I kill a group of guys, I, fight another group, I'm going to get more stuff, which is quite a good way to make a bit of money, get more gear, that kind of stuff. But trainer means that the people in my party, in my group, are going to level up faster. They're going to become better warriors a lot sooner. I'm not sure which one I want to start off with. I think I'm going to go with trainer now. Get some good guys that I can take on the more powerful groups, then start putting stuff into my looting and start getting good gear from the looting. That's the plan anyway. We'll see. The rest of this will come into play a bit later. As I said, pause it, read it, understand it, good to go. One-handed weapons is my favorite. Two-handed is kind of crazy right now. But basically, this just makes me a bit faster with all the weapons and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go out and max everything into one-handed. So 77, 72, and the rest of this I don't really care about. This is BeakerTeck. We are done. Let's go ahead and make what he looks like. It's quite a long intro into the game. Let's randomize this a little bit. What do we think I look like? Or what do we think this character looks like anyway? Well, first of all, he's not going to have that haircut. That's an abomination. Would be the first word I would think to describe that. So let's go ahead and change that up. He could, looking suave. Very suave. Little spiky on top. That's almost realistic to what I have right now. To be honest. No, I'm not bald. Let's go through, what else do we have? Perhaps the long, got a few options. Let's go with Mr. Spiky over here, looking kind of cool. Hair color, we want to make this as dark as possible, as I have almost black hair. If I could drag the slider properly. He's going to be young. He's going to have, actually, I kind of liked, no, if I can go back a couple. That one, the little knot in it. That looks quite neat. Let's go through, see what else we have. If there's nothing better, we'll go with the knot. Yeah, I think at this point we're going with the knot in the beard. And what kind of skin do I want? That'll do. It gives me nice dark hair as well. And blue eyes. Not what I have, what I've always wanted. That's fine. We'll keep all of this. I mean, you can see, you can do a lot with this game. I mean, just this alone, face width. I mean, you can see that you can start to have quite a lot of playing time with this. But we're gonna leave him roughly like this, and by roughly I mean exactly like this. I'm hitting done now, and we're into the final screen. You hear about Calradia, a land torn between rival kingdoms, battling each other for supremacy. A haven for knights and mercenaries, cutthroats and adventurers, all willing to risk their lives in pursuit of fortune, power, or glory. In this land, which holds great dangers and even greater opportunities, you believe you may leave your past behind and start a new life. You feel that finally you hold the key of your destiny in your hands, free to choose as you will, and that whatever course you take, great adventures will await you. Drawn by the stories you hear about Calradia and its kingdoms, you join a caravan to Praven in the kingdom of Swadia, Ravedin in the kingdom of the Vegas, Tulga in the Khajiit Khanate, Sargoth in the kingdom of the Nords, Jalkala in the kingdom of the Rodoks, or Shariz in the Saranid Sultanate. I had forgotten how crazy some of the names in this place were. So if you've played this game before, you probably have your own way of pronouncing it. This is my way. We're gonna go with it, because I don't know how you do it. But I can't even remember which each of, like, what these guys do. Nords are basically your Vikings. They are on foot most of the time. You don't really get anyone on horse. They have massive axes and shields, and it's fantastic. Swadia, I know they're the knights. They're the guys that you want their cavalry. Like, if you're gonna have cavalry, it's gonna be Swadian. Saranid Sultanate, again, horses, Rhodoks. Khajiit Khanate, sort of deserty guys, as are Saranid Sultanate. I think they both are, or one of them. No, Vegas are the mountain guys. All of them have quite good cavalry. Nords don't. Swadian have the best. So I personally like to ride around on cavalry, but I like to have a nice base of, you know, ground troops to start with. So it's going to be Swadian or Nords. Do I start with foot troops? And I think low-level mounted people are better than low-level foot, you know, infantry. A low-level cavalry is going to be better than low-level infantry, and I can get high-level infantry later. So we're going to go with Swadia. You came by caravan through the heartland of Calradia. Green shoots of wheat, barley, and oats are beginning to push through the dark soil of the rolling hills. And on the lower slopes of the snow-capped mountains, herds of cattle and sheep are grazing on the spring grass. Occasionally, too, you catch sight of one of the great war horses that are the pride of the Swadian nobility. The land here is rich, but also troubled, as the occasional burnt-out farm bears witness. You keep a wide berth of the forests, where desperate men have taken refuge, and it is some relief when you crest a ridge and catch sight of the great port of Praven, its rooftops made golden by the last rays of the setting sun. You are exhausted by the time you find the inn in Praven, and fall asleep quickly. However, you awake before dawn and are eager to explore your surroundings. Just a little side note, that's a terrible idea. If you're in a new city and it's before dawn and you're alone and people walk around with swords, like this modern day, not a problem. Back then, people just walked around with swords. Don't go out before dawn. Anyway, you venture out onto the streets, which are still deserted. All of a sudden, you hear a sound that stands the hairs of your neck on end. The rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. So basically the game, straight off the bat, throws you into some combat. Now I have a sword and a crossbow. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my crossbow. The great thing about the crossbow is you can just hold it forever. And you don't lose any accuracy. Shoot him in the legs. And he's dead. So basically, a little overview of the combat. I'm just going to nick his shield. Right click to block. Left click to stab. You can stab in multiple directions, and you can block, if I didn't have my shield, in multiple directions. Here's the Merchant of Praven. He talks, there's always a merchant. Whenever you start the game, this happens. They fight you, there's a merchant, he takes you back, he's got a bit of a mission for him. We're going to skip his mission, so I'm not even going to listen or read anything that he says. You go back, his brother's in trouble, but I'm not going to take his quiz. His quest, yes, he's giving us a quiz on things. That's okay. So it turns out you have to talk to him first. So let's go up and at least accept his quest. We'll just skip through everything. As you can see, it comes up with a bunch of text. There's a lot of reading in this game. I'm not interested. I have more important things to do. So this is the overview of the world. The orange is Swadia, which is where I am. This is Rhodoks. Hey, I've started to move. Oh, go over there. So Swadia, Rhodoks. Down here we have the Saranid Sultanate. Up here we have the Khajiit Khanate. We have the Nords in blue, and the what are these guys? The Vegas in the white. So the Vegas start with the snow. The Nords start with a bit of the ocean. Pravia sort of control the middle of the map. Rhodoks control down the bottom, and Saranid Sultanate are all the way down here. Basically, this, where am I? This is me. You see that number, that 1 there? That's the number of people in my party. At the moment, it's only me. I can ride around the map by clicking places. I can visit every single one of these names on the map. The big ones are big cities, there are some castles, and then these are little villages. And you get to ride around them. There are also training fields. Basically, you ride around this map, people are in massive wars, you can get into some quite big battles, actually. This are your quests, and this is the characters that you've met, and all the information about them. As you can see, there's quite a large number. This is all the locations you can visit. These are the factions. This is who they're warring with. We'll get into a lot of this later. This is my character. We go here when we need to update things. And this is the people in my party, which at the moment there's nothing. So the first things first is to try and recruit some people, because I've got a little bit of money. I've also got some food, which is great. So with a little bit of money, let's go ahead and start recruiting some people so that we can start fighting others. So this is the village of Asgard. I can start walking around. I can buy stuff from them. You can buy some cabbages. In fact, we're going to do that. And then we're going to recruit. We get 7 Swardian recruits. The lowest level guys, the recruits cost 10 each. Each sort of kingdom, the Nords, the Swardians, all of that kind of stuff, they each have different recruits and they each have different leveling stuff. So these guys will eventually turn into knights on horseback, which is quite cool. And you'll see I've now slowed down. So one of the main mechanics is that the more cavalry you have in your party, the faster you travel over the map. So at the moment, I'm traveling at a speed of 5.9. Now, we'll get to this guy in a sec. And also, you slow down when you go through forest. So let's recruit some more volunteers. We get 6 more. I'm going to leave. So we now have 14. And we should now be going at a nice 3.8 through the forest. You leave the forest and you go a 5.5. So you can see that mechanic. Now, I'd like to try and find that party that I just found, because that was a group of low-level enemies that I can fight. Also, you slow down when it's nighttime. So there is a day-night cycle, and you can't see as far in the night. So it doesn't look like I'm going to find those guys. So let's go ahead and head over to Rulans. And in Rulans, we will recruit some more guys, and then hopefully we'll be able to find someone to fight. Because I would like to start the series off with a good battle. You know, you've seen me create a bunch of characters and all that kind of... Oh, bunch of characters. Me. No one wanted to join me. That's a bit rude. You've seen me create them. You've seen me start walking around. But you haven't seen the sort of the core mechanic. My favorite part about the game, which is the big old battles. They're very, very fun. So, hopefully someone here... We get 2. Fantastic. How much money do we have? 92. So you can see we now have 15 recruits. They cost 1 dinar a week. Every single person has a certain cost to them that you have to pay them every week. So you have to constantly be earning money. How you do that is entirely up to you. You can raid caravans, you can fight people, you can sack villages. Let's fight this guy. There were a couple around them, so hopefully they don't join in. Because that can happen. If you have a fight and there are enemies close by, they'll join in and you can very quickly get outnumbered. So, Forest Bandit. Why, it be another traveller. Chance met upon the road. I should warn you, country here is a mite dangerous for a good fellow like you. But for a small donation, my boys and I'll make sure you get right ways to your destination, eh? That was about 5 accents. Go with it. I'll give you nothing but cold steel, you scum. 16 against their 15. Charge the enemy. Now, as you can see, these are my guys. I'm on horseback, which is quite good. I can command these guys. You can get battles up to 150 in size, and you can command each different section individually. So, this little flag tells my guys where to stand. I think I want them to stand up on this hill here. And then I think I want them to get, stand closer. Stand closer together. We want real tight ranks because these guys here are going to, actually, if they're firing into us, we want to spread out. And then come on, spread out. Make it harder to hit us. And then as soon as they get close, then we will bunch together. So this is the guys that we're going to fight. I'm going to ride out here and try and take a couple of them out to start with. Loosen them up. Missed my very first swing on camera. Fantastic. Hey, that's one dead. So you can see the power that being on horseback has. Now my health is down in the bottom right. Whoa, missing like crazy here. Now we are going to go ahead and say, everyone charge. Come on. Yes. Couple guys getting knocked unconscious. Couple enemies, I should say. Oh. Arrows hurt. Especially if you run straight into them on horseback. Like, they really hurt. So, gotta be careful of that. But delivering quite a bit of damage here, actually. Now, the faster you run past these guys, the more damage you actually do. So, you gotta try and time your strikes, and you can do your blocks as well. Which is, as you can see, it's, I was gonna say very realistic. It's at least involved. And if I got down from my horse, you would see it get even more involved. You really have to block at the right time. You have to swing in the right direction. You have to, it's pretty crazy. But there we go. That was the very first battle, which we managed to, well, I don't want to retreat yet. There we go. Battle 1. So we managed to lose 7 people. 4 were killed, 3 were wounded. So we only actually lost 4. But we killed 7 of their own and wounded 8. I can't capture any yet because I don't have the prisoner management. But that's a really good way to make money. Fight rich people, take them hostage, sell them off as slaves, make lots of money. Fantastic. We do, however, get a bunch of gear. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through and pick up all the top stuff. You can see some of these have, you know, the buy price. It's always sorted by most expensive at the top to cheapest at the bottom. So it's worth just grabbing everything down until about the 4 price, because most of that stuff will actually be free by the time you get somewhere to sell it. That's us done. We have a bunch of people ready to upgrade, including myself. So if we go here, 11, all 11 of them can become Swardian militia. Also, by the way, we get a bunch of money from those guys. We just loot their bodies, essentially. But here we go. We'll upgrade all 11 to militia. So you can see they now get some armor. They get a shield, a spiky mace, which is awesome. However, they do cost 4 times as much. So, you know, there's always that. But let's go ahead and upgrade our intelligence. So we get 2 skill points. And I want 1 point in prisoner management, which I think allows me 10 prisoners? No, 5 per point of skill. So I could have taken 5 of those guys. And then we're also going to get a point in... 1 more point in trainer, and then we'll start doing points into looting. And up our one-handed points as well. And any spare points we'll put into 2-handed weapons. But thank you very much, guys. We've got another fight here, but we'll put this into the start of the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you can't wait to see the rest of this series. And I'll see you in the next one.